Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about ESDE Frontend, where ESDE stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or EmulationStation Desktop Edition, depending on how you wanted to interpret that. Anyways, ESDE just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 3.2.0 is the latest update, and I would say this is a nice quality of life update. It brings on-screen system status indicators like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cellular, and battery, and 3 new systems for emulation, the Vicron 32, Sega Mark III, and PS4. Now it is worth pointing out here that PS4 emulation is done through Shad PS4, and it's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux, not Android, and I don't think anybody should be surprised by that part. The changelog is pretty packed with a whole bunch of different changes. I mean, they even added in Azahar, as some people like to call it, for Nintendo 3DS emulation. There's Windows-specific stuff, Linux-specific stuff, Android-specific stuff, and even more, including a bunch of fixes. If you are interested in this and wanted to learn even more about it, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below right at the bottom. And taking a look here, they also have a YouTube video, and yes, a link to that will be in the description below at the bottom as well. And speaking about YouTube videos, next up we're talking about one of Ioneo's latest handhelds, the Ioneo Pocket Ace. Now we've talked about this one in previous videos, and Ioneo has just pumped out a brand new YouTube video showcasing this thing in action. It does feature a Snapdragon G3X Gen 2. The screen on this one is 1620 by 1080. And on top of that, it has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. It does support 40 watt fast charging. And a lot of people seem to be excited about this, and a lot of people seem to be a little bit on the fence about it. I mean, taking a look at the comments here, this person says, "Put down the prices. We live in a broken society. I love you, but I'm broke. I'll wait for the Ace 2 announcement next week. Could have been my endgame retro console if it was OLED. Great, hurry up and release this before I become interested in another product." And this person says here, the prices are what holds them back. Cool design. I hope this speaker grill isn't a dust magnet. And there's one here that I thought was very interesting. Will this one actually fit my pocket? The last one you named Pocket did not. But I am curious to hear your thoughts on the matter. Let me know your thoughts on the Ioneo Pocket Ace in the comments below. And unless they've got really small hands, taking a look at this thing here, I don't necessarily think it would be pocketable. I could be wrong about that one. Maybe you've got massive pockets, but at the same time here, I mean, if their hands are tiny, that may make this device look a little bit bigger. I really don't know. And speaking about tiny devices, next up here, we're talking about tariffs and the Nintendo Switch 2. And it seems that the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders in the US have been put on hold due to tariffs. This kerfuffle has a whole lot of people talking about it. And here's a post from GameStop, and they say it's an update from Nintendo. Pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will not start April 9th, 2025, in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions. Nintendo will update timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. Now, when Nintendo initially announced the price of the Switch at $450 US, some people thought that was way too high, and some people were saying Nintendo was anticipating the cost of the tariffs and baking that into the overall price. The kicker here, the big kicker, is that it's being reported that Nintendo moved production of the Switch from China to Vietnam and Cambodia in order to try to avoid tariffs. And now Vietnam and Cambodia have been tariffed pretty hard. Vietnam has a 46% tariff and Cambodia has a 49% tariff, which may impact the price of the Switch significantly. Unfortunately, I don't know if there is going to be an overall price impact to the Switch 2 in the US. I don't know if Nintendo is going to crank up the price or keep it the same. Some sources are saying Nintendo is going to keep the price the same, and other sources are saying Nintendo is going to crank it up. 46% tariff on $450 brings the console over $650. And that makes it more expensive than here in Canada, where it's priced at $630, and our dollar is a lot lower than the States. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here in terms of, I guess, overall price for the Switch 2. There's a lot of speculation out there, but we're just going to have to wait and see once those pre-orders open back up. For Nintendo, I think the timing couldn't be much worse for this. I mean, if the tariffs are still in effect as of June 5th, well, that would be significantly worse as they're trying to ship and sell the actual consoles. We'll have to wait and see here, though, but it's just Nintendo, I think, is between a rock and a hard place right now on this stuff. And I think this is going to spark a lot of people to start investigating the impacts of tariffs on the video game industry in general, because this is pretty big. And speaking about handheld consoles, next up we're talking about Xbox and their upcoming handheld. And it's being reported that Xbox may have accidentally leaked their upcoming handheld, accidentally on purpose. Some people are saying this is not going to be Xbox's upcoming handheld, and this is just a set of controllers to a mobile device. I'm not necessarily sure on that one. I don't know why someone would have that just sitting on their shelves in the test labs here, but at the same time, let me know your thoughts about it. That's literally all we've got to go on right now, but it does seem that the layout is going to be very similar, like with the joystick there, very similar to something like a Nintendo Switch. Anyways, here it's just, this is all speculation, and I don't want to say this is a nothing burger. It's obviously something, but that something isn't really a whole lot to go on. And speaking about tech, next up we're talking about Amazon, and this could be some fantastic news if you struggle to have consistent internet or just struggle to have internet in general, or you only have one provider and you wanted some more. Amazon is set to take on Starlink here with Project Kuiper. I'm not going to lie here, I am very curious to see how this service pans out, what the speeds are like, what the coverage is like, and what the overall price is with the plan and the hardware. Amazon is saying they're trying to keep things affordable here. And for the speeds, they don't seem to be too slow, provided coverage is good. They're going to be initially launching 3,200 satellites. They say here for cost of the devices, they're trying to keep them under $500. For the one that mounts to the house here, they say it'll get 400 megabits per second. Hopefully, I don't know. And then they also have a 7-inch one, which I am very interested in given the fact that I go camping a lot. A lot of the times when I go camping, I've got no signal whatsoever. I don't know what tree coverage if satellite would be better than that, or that would be also awful here. But at the same time here, if it's a relatively inexpensive device and you can get up to 100 megabits per second on the smaller 7-inch device, I may be interested. Again, I don't know the pricing on this. I don't know the pricing plans for the overall monthly service. I don't know any of that just yet. And being in Canada, I don't know what the coverage is going to be like either. Now, the article I was just referencing was from back in 2023, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about this more than a few times on the channel. Anyways, here, I also think I called it Project Kuiper to start the segment, and I meant to say Project Kuiper. I might have mispronounced that. This is where I got the 3,200 number from the most recent article here, and it seems that this project is coming along really nicely. I'm excited to see more competition in this space. I think more competition will help drive down prices and normalize this kind of thing. But I am kind of curious about the low Earth orbit. It seems there's going to be a whole bunch of satellites out there. I'm curious to see how congested things get. Either way here, let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if satellite internet is something you'd be interested in. And speaking about stuff you may be interested in, next up we're talking about a racing game and a rally game and, well, just a driving game. It's called #Drive. It got a release date of April 16th, and this one is on Steam. On a side note here, by #Drive, I meant to say #Drive Rally. I don't know what's going on with me today in terms of overall names. Anyways, here over on Steam, it's been in early access since September of 2024 with a very positive review score. It's not priced too high at all, and this is going from early access to full release, I would say in a short window, given the fact that a lot of early access games out there stay in early access for a long time. Let me know your thoughts about this one if you've played it before and if the very positive review score is fitting. And speaking about games in early access, next up we're talking about Palworld and Palworld versus Nintendo. And it's being reported that Nintendo has secured 2 more anti-Palworld US patents, and they might be filing a multi-patent US lawsuit against Pocket Pair in a matter of months. I don't know how this works in overall patents and retroactively going after someone. I don't think you can do that. Anyways, here Nintendo appears to be trying to take this course, and I'm curious to see what happens. If you're curious about this one and wanted to learn more about it, again, like everything we talk about, link is in the description below at the bottom. And this article comes courtesy of GamesFray. I'm wondering what's going to happen here as Nintendo is going after Palworld. Palworld is kind of trolling Nintendo a little bit. I mean, they previously said they'd be possibly interested, or they'd entertain the idea of bringing Palworld to the Switch 2 if the Switch 2 is powerful enough. Wouldn't that be something? Nintendo going after Palworld and Palworld launching their game on Nintendo's system. Next up, we're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds, and in spite of having a mixed overall review score on Steam, this has been one of Capcom's best-selling games ever. And Monster Hunter Wilds just got a pretty darn big patch update. I'm not going to go over the whole changelog here because there's quite a few of them, and we have covered some in previous videos. They've added in stuff like new weapons, new armor, new missions, and made a whole bunch of changes. And the patch is about 6 gigs or 16 gigs with ultra high textures. And speaking about big, next up we're talking about MegaBoy. MegaBoy is a Game Boy and Game Boy Color emulator and just got a brand new update to version 1.1.0. MegaBoy is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and the latest update here has a whole bunch of bug fixes and optimizations, and a lot of accuracy and compatibility improvements. They say here that compatibility should be at 99%, over 99.9%. And continuing to talk about Game Boy and Game Boy Color emulation, next up we're talking about SameBoy. And SameBoy also got a brand new update, version 1.0.1. There's a whole lot here in terms of overall updates. There's new and improved features, accuracy improvements and optimizations, bug fixes, and even more. And they say here this version is backwards compatible with save states from previous versions. There's UI improvements, improved audio quality, and even more. This is a pretty big release for SameBoy. And speaking about releases, next up we're talking about Wipeout on the Sega Dreamcast. Yes, Wipeout has been ported to the Dreamcast, and yes, it has released. And yes, the Sega Guru has you covered. They've got a brand new YouTube video that I do recommend checking out with some very interesting information in the description. It seems that this port is open source. And speaking about releases, next up here we're talking about an English fan translation for the Blue Crystal Rod. There's a brand new patch that has just dropped, and this game was released on the SNES back in 1994. If you are curious about this one, Supper's got you covered. They've got a brand new YouTube video showcasing gameplay of this as well as the patch in action. And in the description of the video, they've also got a link to the patch. And speaking about the SNES, next up we're going back one generation and talking about the original NES. And someone has ported or made the Chrome Dino game for the NES. This is up on itch.io. The download is, well, it's not very big at all. And I would say this is it's a game well suited for the NES. I would say it's even probably better suited for something like the Atari. But either way here, if you are curious about this one, feel free to check it out. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state, and I'll see you tomorrow.